What if the reason your drive feels lower, your workouts feel flatter, and your blood flow feels weaker is not age alone? Most men over 50 do not suddenly lose testosterone, performance, and desire for no reason. They lose them in layers. First, energy drops, then blood flow slows, then drive follows. And by the time they notice all three, they assume it is just part of getting older. But here's the dangerous part. Some of the biggest problems behind low testosterone, weak circulation, and low drive are not dramatic. They are silent. They build slowly, and they often start with nutritional gaps that affect hormones, arteries, and nitric oxide at the same time. In this video, we are breaking down the essential vitamins most linked to stronger testosterone support, better blood flow, and a healthier male performance system. And the third one matters far more than most men realize. When most men think about testosterone, they think about one thing: hormone levels. That is too narrow, because male performance depends on three systems working together: hormones, circulation, cellular energy. If one breaks down, the others start slipping too. That is why one man can have normal testosterone on paper and still feel tired, flat, foggy, and less interested in sex. His blood vessels may not be working well. His nutrient status may be poor. His cells may not be producing energy the way they used to. And this is where vitamins become more important than most men think. Not because vitamins are magic, but because they act like switches. They help your body make hormones, protect arteries, control inflammation, support nerve signaling, and keep blood moving where it needs to go. When those switches are off, the whole system feels older than it is. And when enough of them turn back on, many men notice the difference in three places first: morning energy, mental drive, and physical response. But before we get into the list, one important point. This is not about megadosing random supplements and hoping something happens. That is how men waste money for 6 months and then say, nothing works. What works is fixing the deficiencies and weaknesses that hit the male body the hardest after 50. And the first one is one of the most common. Vitamin D is not just a bone vitamin. It acts more like a hormone helper. And for a lot of men, low vitamin D is one of the first cracks in the foundation. Why? Because vitamin D receptors are found in tissues involved in testosterone production, immune control, muscle function, and vascular health. When vitamin D is low, your body does not operate like a strong, well-fueled male body should. You may notice lower energy, lower mood, lower training output, lower recovery, and in some men, lower libido. That matters because testosterone is not built in isolation. It is built in a body that needs the right signals, the right raw materials, and the right internal environment. Vitamin D helps create that environment. Now here's where many men get fooled. They think, I spend time outside, so I'm probably fine. Not necessarily. Age reduces the skin's ability to produce vitamin D efficiently. Indoor work, sunscreen, body fat, winter months, darker skin tone, and poor absorption can all push levels down. So a man can feel mostly fine, yet still be running with a chronic deficit that drags down performance. Vitamin D may help set the stage for testosterones, but if your arteries are stiff, inflamed, or poorly supported, drive and performance can still stay weak. That brings us to the next vitamin. Most men never think about vitamin K2. That is a mistake. Because if vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, K2 helps tell that calcium where to go and where not to go. You want calcium in bones, you do not want it building up in arteries. This matters more than most men understand. Because blood flow is not only about desire, it is about delivery. If the vascular system gets stiffer, narrower, and less responsive over time, blood flow suffers, performance suffers, and sometimes confidence suffers before a man even understands what is happening. K2 supports proteins that help keep calcium out of soft tissues and moving toward the right places. That means K2 is not just a heart health nutrient. For older men, it is part of the blood flow conversation, and blood flow is part of the male vitality conversation. This is where men often take one supplement for testosterone, another for libido, and something else for circulation. without realizing the systems overlap. They are treating the symptoms like separate problems, but the body sees one network. Hormones, arteries, nerves, energy. When that network is underfed, everything feels weaker. Now, K2 is not a stimulant. You do not take it one morning and suddenly feel 25 again. That is not how real repair works. Real support is slower, quieter, more structural. But those structural changes are exactly what older men need, because the goal is not a fake boost for a weekend. The goal is restoring the conditions that make stronger performance possible again, and that leads to the third vitamin, the one that often gets ignored until the symptoms become impossible to dismiss. If vitamin D helps support hormone function and K2 helps support healthier blood vessel function, vitamin B12 helps support the wiring and energy behind the whole machine. B12 plays a major role in red blood cell production, nerve function, and energy metabolism. That means low B12 can hit a man in ways that feel vague at first, then obvious later. He feels tired, then mentally slower, then physically less responsive, then less motivated. Then he starts thinking, maybe I'm just getting old. But sometimes it is not age. Sometimes it is poor absorption. And B12 deficiency becomes more common as men get older, especially with digestive changes or common medications that reduce stomach acid. Drive is not just sexual. Drive is neurological. Motivation, sharpness, response, stamina, and signal quality all matter. If your nervous system is underpowered, your desire problem may not be just a testosterone problem. It may be an energy and signaling problem too. This is why some men say they do not only feel less interested, they feel less alive, less switched on, less ready. B12 can matter a lot there. So if you want to support testosterone, drive, and blood flow, stop thinking in isolated pieces. Think in systems. Vitamin D helps support the hormone side. Vitamin K2 helps support the artery side. Vitamin B12 helps support the energy and nerve side. 3 vitamins, 3 weak points, 3 chances to start correcting what age, diet, and neglect slowly take away. Because for a lot of men, the problem is not that the body stopped working. The problem is that the body has been undersupported for years. And when you finally give it what it has been missing, the difference does not only show up in numbers. It shows up in energy. It shows up in desire. It shows up in blood flow. And it shows up in how alive you feel when the day begins.